I used to think that my job was to teach when I created content. So I taught more and more and more. But the content that actually led to sales wasn't doing the teaching at all. And once I realized why, everything changed. So today is all about the kind of conversion moments that don't look like selling, but lead to a sale every single time. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to the show. It's Michelle, and this episode has been sitting with me for a while because it touches something that I see all the time, and honestly, something I had to work through myself. There's this pressure in online business that says that if you're not teaching, you are not valuable. If you're not giving tips, frameworks, or lessons, you're not showing off your expertise. And while teaching absolutely has a place, it's not what creates conversion moments. And most coaches and course creators think that conversions come from proving how smart they are. So what do? They teach more, they explain more, they give more value. And on the surface, that sounds like the right thing to do, right? Because that's what all the gurus tell us. But what actually happens on the other side of that content is subtle and dangerous. People don't think, wow, I trust her. They think, of course she can do that because she's been in business longer than I have, because she has more experience, because she has more followers, she's further ahead, because enter your reason here. And without realizing it, you've just positioned yourself as the exception, not the guide. That doesn't create trust, it creates distance. Teaching only content makes you somewhat of an authority ish, I would say. Relational content makes people feel safe with you, and safety is what creates conversion moments. When someone can't see themselves and what you're talking about, they won't step into your solution. They might save the post, they might binge your content, but they won't move because conversion doesn't happen when people understand what to do. It happens when they believe that they can do it too. I had to learn this the hard way. There was a season where I felt stuck, not because I didn't know what to do, but because things weren't moving the way I expected them to. And instead of talking about that, instead of sharing what wasn't working, I taught more because teaching felt safer, teaching felt controlled, teaching felt professional, right? Teaching made me feel like an authority. I mean, no one wants to be that vulnerable, right? Because if you share your failures, then maybe no one wants to work with you. That's exactly how I felt. Like I can't really show what's really happening because they're going to think like, why am I going to work with Michelle? She can't even get her own thing together, right? But the moment that I shared things like, here's where I got stuck and here's what I did to get unstuck. Here's the belief that kept me spinning and here's how I shifted that belief to make me move forward. Everything literally shifted. Not in the likes, not in the saves, in the connections, in the conversations, and in the conversions. And that's when people started messaging me saying, like, I feel like you're inside my head. That's exactly where I am. I don't know anyone else felt this way, right? It's like, I thought I was the only one. Those are conversion moments. A conversion moment isn't a call to action. It's the moment someone feels seen. It's the moment that they stop comparing themselves to you and start believing that they can move forward too. These are relational conversion moments. They happen before the sales page, before an offer, before a pitch. This is where trust is built. Someone messaged me once and said, I've been following you for a while and I don't even know exactly what you offer, but I trust you and I want to work with you. And that stopped me in my tracks because it didn't come from a launch or a sales post or a strategy breakdown. It came from consistently in how I showed up and what I was saying, sharing where I was, what I was navigating, what I was questioning. That message told me everything I needed to know. The conversion had already happened. This is where the BFF effect happens, where people feel like they are your BFF or you are their BFF and you've never even, right? And this is why people are often ready to buy from you before they even know what you sell. When you create these relational conversion moments, the resistance drops, their guard comes down. Conversations start naturally. People aren't asking, is this worth it? they're saying, oh, she's the person who gets me. And once they get that question answered, or once that thought comes in their mind, the sale becomes easy. It's not forced, it's not awkward, it's aligned. So here is your 1% action for today. The next piece of content that you create, don't teach. Instead, create one relational conversion moment by answering this. Where were you stuck? And what shifted to get you unstuck? That's it. No lesson, no framework, just the truth. Maybe it's a situation or something, and it doesn't have to be like right now, right? This could be something that you're like, hey, a couple of years ago, I was really in this moment and I was embarrassed to share it before. I want to share it now, right? What was that truth? What were you actually going through? Because I can guarantee that if you were experiencing something, somebody else is experiencing the same thing. And more likely, it's more than just one somebody else, right? It's a bunch of people, and they need to see how you work through it. It can't be all rainbows and sunshine and butterflies or whatever that statement is, right? People want to know your journey. They want to know that you too struggled. Everything can't be perfect all the time. And that tiny shift will build trust faster than 10 educational posts ever will. You don't need to prove how qualified you are. Your audience already assumes that. What they're looking for is someone who understands there, someone who has been there, someone who makes growth feel possible. That is how conversion actually happens. That is the 1% conversion effect in action. I appreciate you so much for being here with me today. I am so looking forward to going on this journey with you. Keep leaning into those tiny tweaks and stacking those 1% wins. Until next time, let's grow your business together.